these lions, the ones that have trackers on them, the trackers for lions go off every hour of every day, and so you can do their movements. So a cluster is when a lion has been in one spot for more than 6 hours. So then on the map, there's like lots of dots in that area. So that's a cluster. So when you get a cluster, usually something's happening. You usually have like a kill, mating, cubs. Something's happening there. Why is that lion or lioness stationary? So this lion that we were going to go out and see was 300 kilometers away from base camp. 250. A long drive, basically. And it was in sand as well. We're in like big V8 Land Cruisers, so we can move. But it was like 5 hour drive. Anyway, so we got out there. I'm in the front, I'm driving, Trevor's in the passenger seat doing the tracking on the GPS, and in the back we were 3 trackers. These trackers, like I was saying earlier, they are an ancient race. That's what or an ancient group of people. Ethnic people? No. Don't know what the terminology would be. But they originate from the Khoisan or the Kalahari people. And I was saying, their dialect originated from clicks. So they speak in clicks. Kalahari is kind of like an amalgamation of Setswana and that. So I couldn't understand it at all, man. I really tried. I could understand Setswana, but like Khoisan, there was a guy there called Fire. Obviously, like his dialect name is something, but translated to English is Fire, so everyone called him Fire. But that he spoke just in Khoisan, bro, in clicks, and it was wild. We'd be tracking we'd tracking kudu, 2 like big antelope, really big, beautiful antelope, and he'll turn and he'd be like, and we were like, oh, what's he saying? The translator would go, in 2 hours we will see 2 male kudu. We're in the middle of the desert. This guy's like, in 2 hours we'll see 2 male kudu, not just like 2 kudu, male. Kudu. But I'm like, how the hell? I'm telling you, man, 2 hours. We'd walked like 6-7 Ks, right? 2 hours on the dot. He goes like this, boom, and he goes 2 kudu, bro. There, that's crazy. Insane. Like, they see a different world.
Do you think? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Do you think they're so connected with nature that they have like those black mamba type of senses?
Like in those movies, like when a dog is like smelling, and they make the scene blue, and you see like the scent trail in the air type thing.
Yeah.
I genuinely think those guys look at the ground and they just see the footprints, and they can like imagine the animal walking on those footprints and what pace. How do you know 2 hours? He knows what pace they're moving. How did you know they're a boy or a girl? How heavy they are, how they're standing. It's like, this guy's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's so impressive. So the 3 trackers are in the back. We're driving down the roads because there's like conservation roads, and then Trevor turns to me and goes, oh yeah, 400 meters on the left is where the cluster is. And I look left. There's no road, man. It's just bush. So now we have to bush crush.
Oh my
So God. I go over the road and just like driving over trees, driving around trees, just like, where are we going? Usually when there's a cluster, like it's a desert. So there are like small shrubs, but everything's almost like 2 meters high. Usually if there's a cluster, it's by a pronounced landmark, a tall dead tree, a rock or something. So 200 meters away, we could see a tall tree. So we're like, I must be there. So now we're on lookout. We're looking for this lion. Well, no, actually, the cluster was at like 3 a.m. or something. We know at 6 a.m. we got our last ping, and we were like, and then 7 she'd moved off. So we were like, oh, the lion's not here anymore, but there's a cluster here. So maybe there's a carcass. So that's what we're going to investigate. So we pulled up under the tree, parked the car, the trackers get out, and those guys are on it, man. As soon as they step out the car, they can see the lion tracks. I'm like, what? It's just sand. These tracks were made at 3 a.m. It's just sand. And these guys can see these tracks instantly.
Did they not tell you how? Like,
bro, they can't. They just can't tell you.
Yeah.
It's
like beyond language.
It's literally beyond language.
That's so crazy.
So they get out of the car, and now They're working, bro. They're working. This is what they do. This is their whole life. Trevor and I, we're standing by the car, and the trackers move off. They move off maybe like 10 meters. And just behind the car, there's this big bush, like a big circular bush, right? And one of the trackers goes to the left, and the other two trackers go to the right. There's like footprints everywhere. They're like, what's happening? So Trevor follows those two to the right. I follow this one to the left. I'm not right behind them. I'm kind of just chilling. Those guys are off, bro. I'm like, 6 meters behind them. And as these guys get around this bush is like 15, 20 meters from the car. As they get around this bush like this, we hear this growl, bro. We're like, what is happening? And from inside the bush, these guys are walking around. This female lioness, this massive lioness, no collar, nothing, goes, whoa, jumps out the bush at this tracker in front of me, right? And like swats at his shirt as she comes out the bush, and the tracker goes, like jumps out the way and goes, fuck, like swearing. And I've never seen people run so fast, man. Those guys were gone. Bah! They're just coming back to the car. Back to the car. And all Trevor's saying to me is, get in the car. And I just see this lioness like jump out the bush and then like turn mid-air and like look at us. And I'm like, God, bro, I'm like 6 meters away from this lioness here, dude. And this guy's running at me. I'm like, nah. So I turn around, we book it, bro, for the car. I jump in through the window on my side. The guys get in the car and the lioness like runs off past the car. And we're like, shit, like the guys in the back are like in tears. They're like, oh my God, we're gonna die. They're like shaking, bro. They lock the doors, bro. These guys are trackers of the bush, dude. And they're like, nah, we're not getting out again. And the reason why, so I started the car and we were like, oh, what's in the bush? So that wasn't collared, that lioness. Her sister was collared. But this lioness had 4 cubs, like 4 days old, and they were in the bush. So she was like protecting her cubs.
Yeah.
But we just didn't know she was there because she never collared them on. And then, we went up to the cubs. We had a look, bro. We started counting them for research purposes. I turned the car off, not to like to like disturb them. We counted them, and then we're like, oh yeah, it's time to go, bro. So they say start the car. So I start the car, and the car goes tick 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 tick. And they're like, nah, stop joking, man. Start the car. Like, what do you do, man? Start the car. I'm like, Trevor, tick 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 tick. Car's not starting.
Oh my God.
But now we're parked next to the bush where the lions cubs are. I'm Trevor, this is not good, bro. He's like, what are we going to do? So we get the satellite phone out, put the satellite phone on the roof, and we try and ring. And it's like an American voice. There are no satellites available. And we're like, what do you mean there's no satellites available? So we're in somewhere now where satellite phone isn't working.
Oh my God. So
And
you're nowhere.
there's a lion somewhere. But we're by her cubs, so she's gonna come
It's
back.
the worst place you can be.
So what the hell are we gonna do? So I go, hey guys, the lions run off somewhere. Let me just go and check the bonnet quickly. I open the door. The trackers almost like knocked me out, bro. They like put me in a headlock. They're like, nah. They were clicking away, dude. All they could say to me was, danger, like this. And I was like, what are these guys on? So obviously, I just wanted to get out of there. But these guys. So one of them climbed on the roof to have a look around, and we all opened our doors and we pulled the car backwards, and we were trying to get away from the bush. So we're pulling the car, and then when we were like at a further away distance, I popped the hood. I don't know what I was gonna do with the 10 seconds I had under the hood, but like I ran around the front and I just checked like the battery terminals because I thought it was battery terminals, and it was, luckily. So we managed to get out of there, but it was insane, man.
Bro, if the clicking guy started panicking,
Yeah,
nah,
see, that was my question. I was like, what about him? Like,
Nah, they were scared because the year before someone died from a leopard attack in the tracking group, so not good. But that was a hell of an experience, that, man.
Yeah.
Proper life. You know what I mean? You see a lioness running towards you, you're like,
I bet you felt so alive.
oh,
Because it's like,
you know, the blood, like your blood gets pumping. You get in the car and everyone's like, wow, like, you know what I mean? Like
it's
adrenaline
real.
junkie almost.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's like your life can just go. It can be nothingness in any.
Oh my gosh.
How do you think that changes you as a person?
I gain a lot more respect for that animal then. Like I said before, you're sitting in a car, you feel safe. You know what I mean? The lion's walking around, you feel safe. I was on foot. That thing was moving. You feel a lot more respect. When I was younger, we used to go camping.
If you enjoyed this segment, please make sure to like and subscribe. Also, the link to the full podcast is in our description. And finally, I wanted to say that please make sure to follow and download the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so we can bring you more amazing content. Thank you so much for listening.